how about if we start from the beginning, because I'm curious of how you get to your collection, your conversation collection, whatever it's called.
Well,
Okay,
VO
let me,
home
I'm
or
gonna,
VO end will take you to the end. I've done that a few
yeah,
times. That is consistent. But as for going to the top, which I really don't care about, that
right.
does not work with VO home. So
It goes to VO. It does. It did for me. But
again, we're using two different keyboards. So
what I want to know is, for the sake of today's session, everything you tell us then is going to be on, as a reference, will be with the regular keyboard, right?
yeah, unless somebody like you and I think Judy has one, has an extended keyboard, can simulate and confirm, and whoever doesn't or whoever has an extended keyboard, you can tell them what those commands are. But I can only
Well,
give you a reference point
okay.
from the keyboard that I
I
use.
so
By now,
something,
everybody should know how to open messages, how to get
right?
to it. I mean, it can be on your dock, it can be in your applications. You can have a commander. You can even get to it from your launch pad. So that's the first
Yeah,
thing. When you open
we're that
messages,
good.
one thing I will remind you of is your messages will always, always, always land you on the last conversation that you were dealing with. So it doesn't matter if you got 35 conversations, or if you were dealing with conversation 35, that's where it's going to land you on. It
Okay,
might,
good.
let me rephrase. It's not going to land you on it, but that's what's going to be highlighted. Let me put it like that.
What's the fastest way to get into your list of conversations?
That depends on your preference, because when you first open messages,
In
yeah. So
conversations.
when I open messages, it takes me to my conversation with Sherry, and it automatically puts me in the edit field because that's where I was at last time. So let me see if it does it. If I go to the beginning of my collection, I don't want mail. Nope. So it doesn't matter. Whatever conversation you were dealing with, at least on mine, when I open up messages, it automatically lands me in the text field so I can type.
Okay, so let's
So
say you don't want that person, then you just do VO left and right to go up and down the list.
well, it's not in the list yet because it's landing me in the edit field so I can write something. That's where it's putting me when I first open messages. If I want to get to the list of conversations, I have a commander to go to the top, but Judy's way works too. If you do VO function and left arrow, it will take you all the way back to the toolbar. Or if you have an extended keyboard home,
All right, so I'm in toolbar, then what do I do?
you don't have to be in it, but you have to be on it because that's going to be your
Yeah,
starting point.
right, I'm on
Next
it, and
field,
then I
the
go
next field
VO
is going to be
right,
search.
search. Yeah, VO right arrow.
And then if you VO right arrow again, there's going to be your conversations collection. And that's where
Right,
you would interact so you can find who you want to start
right.
talking to.
Okay, cool. So now let's go back to search. If we don't, if like we want to have a conversation with someone that we haven't spoken to, but we know they're in our in our list. So if I go back to search, I have to get out of the stop interacting with the conversation collection, right?
That's exactly what you have
Search.
to do.
Yeah, search. And then, okay, now I'm in search and I want to search for someone. So I type their name. Let me type your name. Kliph. Cliff. Okay, now what? I typed your name, hit enter, I guess.
Yep. Or you actually don't need to. You can just VO right arrow and it'll say results. And then you'll have to interact with the results there.
All right, let
This
me
is
hear.
something that I had to try because I don't use the search feature. I know where
All
everybody
right,
is that I want to talk to. So,
all right, search results. Hold on.
So you have to interact to search.
no. Once
I
if
mean, once you type a name in and results come up.
they're
I'm
well,
looking.
they'll come up, but you'll have to go to them. So you'll VO right arrow to results, interact with the results, and then find the one that you want.
Search results for Kliph. Oh, so now it's telling me to interact.
Yes.
Conversations. So should I just interact on conversations?
I mean, I'm assuming you probably got a VO spacebar on the result that you want. That way you can start corresponding with that person. But again,
right.
this is a feature
Wait,
that
hold on.
I don't use search anywhere. So
All right, this is you. So hold on. Keyboard King. So I'll VO spacebar and see if what happens.
Selected Keyboard King. So if you don't search, how do you get to everybody?
I never run more than 10 conversations at a time, and 5 of them are usually the people that are in my house. So, and they're all pinned anyway, so I don't have to worry about it.
All right, so wait a minute. I'm on, let's follow through on this. Hold on. There's Cliff. Keyboard King. I did VO right arrow. Keyboard King. So I hit.
I'm assuming you probably have to stop interacting to go over to start writing the message in the edit field.
All right, I'm going to stop interacting. Now I'm going to go VO right arrow. I'm just VO right arrow. Messages. Should I do in messages, interact in messages maybe?
That's where you would have to, if you wanted to see what the conversation said, you would interact with messages, collection it should tell you, unless you have your hints turned off. Or if you want to get directly to the edit field, you would VO end, and you would be on the edit field.
Oh. All right, let me hear.
Well, you would be on the emoji picker, the record audio, and then the edit field will be the third one to the right, or left, I'm sorry.
I'm going to VO right for a minute.
But by VO right arrowing that way, depending on how long the conversation is, if you're in the collection, it's going to take you a very long time. So the VO end is going to be and then go back 3 will be much faster. Okay, when you saw apps, the edit field should have been just to the right of that. So VO end again.
This button also has an action to zoom the window. You are currently on the
messages.
Press control option space to zoom the window.
I go VO right. Messages is the furthest right.
All right, go to the left. All right, stop interacting. Maybe you got interacted again. Okay, now VO end.
Messages. You are currently on a collection. To interact with items in this group, press Control Option Shift down arrow.
All right, VO right arrow.
Apps.
Go one more.
Message.
And there it is. That's your edit field. She said messages, edit text. That lets you know that you can write.
All right, I'm going to write too. Do I VO spacebar on that?
Yep.
So we started off with going to VO home, and then we arrowed to the right, and then we heard search, and then we typed in Cliff's name, and then I think I stopped interacting with Cliff's name and VO right to hear results, and interacted with results, and then it got confusing. So I think I hit VO end again. No, VO spacebar maybe to get to it, and then VO end, and what you're listening for finally was the application, and then I think right before application was edit message, or message is like an edit field.
Yeah.
Then I typed in test, and then I hit enter, but I don't know if I missed a step or not. If we want to get to the collection, we go past search, keep going VO right arrow past search till we get to the collection and interact. And then you can arrow down through your list of names.
So
Then when you get to the name and you want to see all the messages in that person's name, what do you hit then?
You make sure you VO spacebar to highlight to let VoiceOver know that's the conversation you want to interact with. You can either stop interacting and VO right arrow to the messages collection, or you can VO J and it should jump you right into the collection. Now, VOJ will not take you backwards. So if you want to get out of that collection, you either have the VO stop interacting with VO shift up arrow, or you can hit VOJ until it jumps you back to the toolbar. That's the long way, but it is possible.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so once you get to the collection, you interact with that, and then
I tried using headings, because I noticed in messages it says heading, which will be the person's name, and so I did VO Command H, and I could go up and down through the conversation with headings, and I'm assuming I could get to links the same way.
But you get to head when you
I
go
actually
to
mentioned that in the class yesterday. But yeah, that is a way of doing it. I don't do it that way because usually when I'm looking at a conversation, I'm probably looking at only 1 or 2 conversations, not 3 days before. But yes, headings are there for each day and maybe even each timestamp. But I don't want to see the whole conversation. So, I mean, I leave them there so I don't have to keep on sending that person new messages. But I very rarely go back more than 2 or 3 exchanges. But
the
that's
other
just
thing
me.
I did was using VO and the function keys to go, to the top and to the bottom, and that worked to get to the top.
Going to the top or going to the bottom works flawlessly for me, but going to the top, it doesn't work. Let me rephrase.
Let me see.
Okay, I see what it's doing. It's only taking me to the top of what you just mentioned, the heading. So if you want to go to another heading, you actually got a VO left arrow and then do VO function left arrow again, and it's going to take you to the top of that heading of that conversation or that exchange per se. But it's not going to take you all the way to the beginning of that conversation. That's what it's doing here. It'll take you to the end every time. But if you're doing VO function and the left arrow to go to the beginning, it's only taking you to the beginning of the heading that you're in. Right. That's what I've just noticed here.
Okay, now if I'm in a conversation and part of that conversation that I want to save and move into my folders or someplace else, when I'm on my phone, how do I do it on the Mac computer if I want to save that or send it to somebody else, put it in an email or something?
Now, are you trying to say different parts or just one part?
Just one part. Let's say we have everybody sending us text messages and someone has a recipe in there, and one of the links has a recipe. I want to take just that one and save it, move it somewhere else, like email it to myself or put it in notes or something.
The easiest way to do that would be VO Command Spacebar. And one of the options, that's called the Actions menu. And one of the options in there is going to be copy.
Okay.
And the nice thing about that is it's not going to copy the person's name and the date and time. It's only going to copy the text. Whereas if you did last phrase to clipboard, it will copy the name, date, time, and then the text. So if you do it that way, it's only going to copy the text that you want.
When is it helpful to do the VO Shift M? Anywhere in messages?
It's going to give you the same options that the action menu does.
I have trouble when I'm sending a message to multiple people. I think I'm doing something wrong. When I put somebody's name in, then I want to get another name.
Are you confirming the first person?
Yeah, I already put the first person's in, have that in. Now I want to put somebody else in.
Walk me through how you do it.
Oh, let's see. Well, I just type part of the name in, and then I put enter, and I got that person's name because I had most of the spelling.
Okay.
Now,
do it again until you're done.
Oh,
do exactly what you told me. Just keep doing that. So if it was going to be Lynn, you say Lynn, and you heard her hit enter. Then if it was going to be your son, you write a couple of letters. If you hear his email address or his contact point, hit enter. And keep doing that until you got everybody you want. And then you'll go over to the text field, VO spacebar, so it knows you're done adding people, and write in that text field and then send the message. You don't want to VO spacebar in the text field to send a message until you're done adding people.
We learned how to get into the collection, and then we just go interact, and then arrow up and down till we get our name. Then we stop interacting, right? With the name and VOJ, or do we just hit VOJ? We don't have to stop interacting.
You don't have to stop interaction, but you do have to make sure you VO spacebar on the name that you want to correspond with. Otherwise, it's going to do it to the last person.
Oh, that's why sometimes I hear another name when I pick a name.
If I go down to my best friend of 32 years, his name is Tony. If I go down to Tony and I want to talk to him, but I don't do VO spacebar, and my last conversation was with Sherry, whatever I'm trying to send to him was going to go to her. But technically, you don't even have to VOJ or stop interacting and go to the message collection and interact unless you want to read what you've been saying before. If you already know what you want to write, once you hit VO spacebar to select that conversation, you can just start writing and hit enter. Because you've essentially already highlighted that person, so you can send them whatever you want to.
If I want to hear the last thing in our conversation.
Download complete.
Yes, then you would have to get into the messages collection to see that. But if you already know what you want to say, you don't even have to get into the collection.
But if I get into the collection, then that's when I hear their name, hit VOJ or VO spacebar and then VOJ.
If you choose to do it that way, yes. Otherwise, you can stop interacting and go interact with the collection once you hear messages. And sometimes VoiceOver, depending on how long that exchange was, when you VO spacebar on their name, it'll read the last conversation or the last thing you or that person said to you. It just depends on how long it is or how VoiceOver decides to behave.
I still have a hard time when I have a message and I listen to it again and I have a mistake in it. I have a hard time correcting it. I wind up deleting it and starting over.
If you're writing, then if QuickNav is off, all you should have to do is use the option key to go back word by word to find whatever your mistake was. If not, then again, the best option will probably do it is Command A to select all and just hit the delete key and start over.
Okay, so what'd you say about Command Option? I wanted to read word by word?
No, just arrow option will read word by word.
Oh.
And
left arrow will go back. Left arrow option will go back a word. Right option will go forward a word.
Oh, so you've got five separate conversations.
Yep.
Okay. And it says it'll say highlighted on the first one, and if you hit VO command spacebar for the actions menu, you can arrow down to different things and you can delete it. Okay. But how do you delete all of them? Can you Command A there?
I wish. Somebody asked this question a couple of weeks ago, but yeah, the way that I found, and it ain't the most practical way, but the way that I do it is because I have my messages in the cloud turned on. I just go to my phone and hit edit there, select the ones I don't want to delete them, and it syncs across my Mac. I wish they had something like that on the Mac because I understand what you're saying. There'll be a bunch of conversations that I want to get rid of, and I just want to select all. And it's irritating. I wish they had that edit feature on the Mac. I really wish they did.
Go ahead.
I thought of a question. Do you use the menu bar for anything in messages?
Absolutely not. There's nothing in that menu bar that I can't do with the keyboard.
Okay, cool.
I can't believe you just asked the keyboard king that question.
Well, you said you weren't perfect and you didn't know
I'm
everything.
not, but with messages, there are a few things in there that might be helpful to people. You can send an email. I could send a file, and you can actually look at the contact card. A lot of stuff that, I don't need to do, but if somebody was curious, they could go through there and look for that stuff. Command T, just in case you guys didn't know, that's your actual reactions command. So instead of going to the actions menu to find react, you can just do Command T. It's going to say, what does it say?
What's react?
Oh, it's called tap back, but it's really your reactions. Like when you send a thumbs up, thumbs down, like, or laugh, or whatever that is. That's your reactions. But when you do Command T, VoiceOver calls it tap back, but it's the same thing. I don't know why he calls it tap back. I'm not a big emoji person either. The only emoji that I use is a smiley face, and that's because I know how to write it with the keyboard.
Oh, okay.
How do you do that, Cliff?
Now you're gonna
How do you
make me
do
look.
smiley face?
He's got all this
It's
secret
a
thing.
semicolon, or what is the shift?
Oh yeah,
Is it?
yeah.
Yep, it's a semicolon
It's
and
a
the right
colon.
parenthesis.
Or you could do a dash for like the nose, and then a right parenthesis.
I've never known that. See, I told you, I learn something new every day. And if you do that also with a left parenthesis, that's actually a frown.
But if you want to do like a semicolon, then that's like one eye open and one eye closed, like a wink.
Okay.
That's what a semicolon looks like. It's
I wonder.
like
I'm gonna Google to see if there's a list of keyboard combinations that it tells you what you can do emojis manually. If I'm not mistaken, there's a dedicated emoji button now.
There
and if
is.
I'm not, if you want to get to it right away without VO right arrow on, you push Control Command Spacebar. That brings up your emojis. It'll say character palette, but that's what it is. It's your emojis.
There's a trick. You have to go to, and you have to VO Command Spacebar to get, like, you highlight, like, there's frequently used, favorites, you know, smileys and people, you know, so let's do frequently used. It says frequently used selected, okay? And I'm going to VO Command Space.
Actions menu, 2 items.
Actions menu. Press.
VO.
Okay, smiling face. Okay, I down arrowed. Okay, so do that. VO Command Space. Okay, now down arrow, VO down arrow.
Press.
Down arrow again. Control Command Spacebar. Okay, now VO left to the table of frequently used smileys and people, animals, and so VO left till you get to the table. Oh, VO right to smileys and people. We want to say if it's selected.
Yeah, got it. All right, I'm selecting that. Okay, I selected smiling.
All right,
people.
now do VO Command Space.
VO Command. Okay.
Actions menu, 2 items.
Okay, VO down arrow.
Press.
Jump to grinning
Down.
face.
Jump to grinning face.
Okay, VO space.
Grinning
Okay,
face.
now VO right arrow, and you'll have your picks here. VO
Let's
right.
see. Yeah, grinning face with big eyes.
Okay. Pick
Yeah,
one
all the
you want.
Press control.
Okay.
Grinning face with big eyes. Grinning face. Grinning face with big eye. Grinning face with smiling eyes.
Okay, I want
Button. Beaming face with smiling eyes. Grinning face.
grinning face with smiling eyes. I'll select that.
Okay, so VO space.
So I guess that would be in the frequently used now then, right?
Keyboard.
Maybe.
And just for the record, you don't have to have a conversation highlighted to delete it. As long
How
as
do you
you're,
delete it?
let me rephrase. It doesn't have to be selected for you to delete it. So say you have a conversation with Matt, Lynn, and Judy. Judy selected, but you're on Lynn. If you VO Command Spacebar and go down to delete, it will delete Lynn, not Judy. So she does not have to be selected in order for you to delete it.
Yeah.
Can you repeat how you did delete part of a person from a, not part of, how you deleted a person from a group text?
No.
The
Anyway.
answer to your question, Lynn, as long as it's just iPhone users,
Right.
you would go into Toolbar, go to
Uh-huh.
Conversation Details, and you would remove a person from the conversation that way. If
Okay.
it's got mixture of iPhone and the mother people, then I really don't know how to tell you.
Well,
'cause
how
I
does
don't-
it know? I'm sorry. How does it know which conversation you're deleting when you're in the toolbar? So you go to toolbar.
whatever conversation is highlighted, and that's not deleting the conversation. You asked how to delete a person from a group conversation. If you want to delete the entire conversation, you would be interacting with the conversations collection. Go to the conversation you want to get rid of, and then VO Shift M or do the actions.
Right. Okay, gotcha. Thanks.
And the other thing that I will point
Grinning
out
face. How do
The
you
other thing
put
that
it
I'll
in
point out
passive?
too is once you select an emoji, it automatically gets added to your recently used. So if you want to go back instead of looking for that emoji through the 300 million categories that it has, you can just go to your recently used
Yeah.
and pick that
Oh,
again.
good.
Before you VO command spacebar on that category, you actually have to VO spacebar to select it first. Because if you don't, it's not going to give you
Oh, it
anything.
says
It's just
jump
going to
to
say
green.
it's going to say press. That's exactly what it should say. Now VO spacebar or hit enter on that, and you'll be able to VO right arrow to every kind of apple or fruit there is.
So
Y'all
far, some
see
people know
y'all
if
really
you're
think that I'm
alive.
joking when I say I learn stuff new every day. I literally do. I learn new stuff, and the stuff that I can't remember because my brain can't handle everything, I make sure I make a note of it and write it down so I can point it out to somebody. But I really do learn new stuff about the Mac every day, and sometimes it's from stuff like this, and sometimes it's from doing stuff on my own or Googling, looking for one thing, and I find out another.
Oh, I need to learn notes. I need to learn how to do notes. So can we
Do you
have
know how to use? Do you
another
know how to use
session?
text edit?
Yes.
Then you know how to use notes. There's nothing else to it. There really isn't.
Yeah, but I have
All
folders I couldn't open. I don't know
if
what I was.
you don't use quick nav, so opening a folder is just the right arrow.
Press Control Option Space.
Open.
Closing it is the left arrow. Just make sure you're in the table.
Press Control Option.
If it
But then
says
I have
if it,
columns.
if it'll say, well, that I can't
So
help
you
you
have-
with because I don't use column view. I absolutely
Wait.
despise column view.
Okay, so I'm going to hit Command
Shift down arrow
1
as list checked.
as
There you
list
go.
checked.
All right. So if you're in the folders table, my goodness, if you're using quick nav, which I know you're not, so you're using the VO modifier, whether it's the option in command
Right.
control or
Right.
the command, you just want to hit the right arrow to expand and the left arrow to collapse.
Vertical splitter.
Folders. Interact.
Yep, interact there.
In folders. Apple Wellness 1. Selected.
I don't want Apple.
Now, do you have a folder that has subfolders in it?
I don't know. Yes, I do.
Because if you don't, then you don't need to expand and collapse it. You just stop interacting. And
No,
go
I
over to
do.
Okay, so then go down to a folder that has subfolders in it then.
New folder 0. You are currently on
New
cell
folder.
inside
If
the
I
table.
want to delete that.
Navigate the cells within a table.
I
If
don't
you
know
wanna
what's
delete
in
that,
there.
VO Shift M and then go all the way down to the bottom to delete.
But I don't know what's in there. So
It
what I
says
hit VO
it says 0. That means there's nothing in it.
Okay, so
Menu. Rename folder. Delete folder.
delete folder.
All
Okay.
iCloud 214.
Okay, so
Now hit Control so I can explain something to you.
Side of a table to navigate.
Now, if there had been something in that folder, you would have got the prompt that all the notes in this folder will go to the trash for 30 days. To undo it, go to trash. Because you didn't hear that prompt, that means there was absolutely nothing in that folder.
cool. Okay. So now I'm VO right arrowing. I should be going down my list of folders, right?
Right.
Notes 94. You are currently
Notes
on cell
94.
inside of a table to navigate
Okay,
the
that's
cells
your main notes folder. That means that's where all your, if you create a note and you're not in a created folder, then that's your main notes folder. So keep going down. And just for the record, you don't need to VO right arrow. You could actually just down arrow because you don't use quick nav.
Oh, but if I want to hear what's in that notes 94,
Then you would stop interacting and go over to it.
so
Load up folders. Vertical splitter. My notes. New note 10:53 a.m. No additional text.
and just down arrow.
You have to interact with it first.
Look out for y'all.
Oh, it's doing.
Note podcast suggestions. Begin forwarded message 7/9/21.
Okay. So now I want to get out of this. So I go VO left arrow.
Yep.
Folders. Notes 94.
Okay.
Create new folder.
Yes.
Create new folder.
You got to go back to the left to the folders collection or table.
Vertical splitter. My notes.
My
Begin
notes.
forwarded
There,
message.
interact there.
/ in my notes.
Okay.
And now continue to go down or right, however you choose to do it.
I'm going to do quick nav. Hold on.
Quick nav on. E.
Oh, I'm hitting down arrow and it's spelling.
It sounds like your rotor might be on characters. You need to put it on navigation. Left and right, or
Yeah, I got
left
it.
and up arrow together.
Left. Oh,
Closing. Begin quick nav off.
quick nav off.
You want quick nav
So-
on.
Quick nav on.
Now left and
Now-
right. I mean, not left and right, left and up together.
Podcast navigation. Mail, TTJ Tech, at Windows spots. Words. Characters.
Characters.
Navigation.
There you go. Leave it
Navigation?
there. Now just hit the down
Okay.
arrow. Yep.
Podcast suggestions. Begin forwarded message. 7/9/20 goes.
All right.
6/15.
Sounds like you're back in your notes main folder. Go left arrow.
Begin forwarded message. 7/9/21 from Gerard Podcast suggestions.
All right.
7/July 2020.
It sounds like
I'm hitting left arrow.
So
I was hitting
Stop.
left arrow.
you need to stop interacting. You're in the table. So left and down to stop interacting.
Left and down.
Out of my notes.
All right, now go to the left until you get to the folders table.
Messages. Read a dollar sign message.
Okay. I'm in folders.
All right, now you can hit the down arrow.
Table. Create new folder. Create new folder. Create new folder.
Nope, you didn't interact with it. Go back over to the folders table.
On a toggle button. To vertical splitter. Insertion at beginning of text. July 29. Vertical splitter. My notes. July.
Nope, go again.
Plain vertical splitter. Folders.
There
Okay.
you go. Now interact by down and right arrow.
To enter this table, press Control in folders. Notes.
All right, now you can hit the down arrow.
Notes. Alex Wedding.
Oh, this is so cool.
You are currently on a cell to X. 1. Love notes. Shared via iCloud.
Oh, I love this.
Files. Shared via
Okay, so if I want to hear it, let's say I'll pick one.
Test to learn notes. 0.
Test to learn notes, whatever that is.
Inside of a table.
So,
Navigate the cells within a table. Press Control, Option, and then up arrow, down arrow, left arrow.
so what should I do with quick nav? Just right arrow?
Are you trying to see what's in this note?
Yeah.
You have to stop interacting and go to the table, or you might, don't quote me on this because I've never tried it, you might be able to do VOJ to jump to the next table.
But do I have to get out of quick nav?
No.
Okay, let me try VOJ.
My notes. You are currently on a table.
And it did jump you to the notes table. Now, if you want to see what's in the note, you do VOJ again.
Begin editing new note. Actions available. You are currently in a text area. To enter text in this area, type.
She just told you exactly what you needed to know. You're in the notes area. If you want to type, then you can
I don't
type.
even know what note I'm in. How do I find out
Now,
what note?
this is where you would turn quick nav off so you can explore what's there.
Quick net off.
And use your up and down arrow.
That's not working.
Sounds like it's empty.
Okay. So whatever that, now I go via left arrow to find out what that was? What folder that is?
Well, you're in, I forgot what folder you're in. So
I don't
just
even know what it is.
Just VO right arrow. Or left, I'm sorry. VO left.
Nothing's, I'll hit escape because nothing's working. Now I'm all bonked.
Is it, did you do VO left arrow?
Yep.
All
Bonk,
right.
bonk.
Turn quick nav on and then hit the left arrow.
Quick nav on.
It sounds like you might have interacted with do VO shift up arrow.
Yeah.
Out of edit text.
There you go. Now go left.
On a text February 2022. Vertical splitter. My notes. New note. Vertical splitter. Folders. Test to learn notes.
This is so cool. So, so to stop interacting, it's left and down arrow.
Mm-hmm.
And to
To
start,
interact
it's left
is right and down arrow.
So in the notes table, it says iCloud, Google Drive, Exchange. What do you do with those?
That is the product of you having Google Drive, Microsoft, them email accounts with the notes option selected. If you go into your system preferences, internet accounts, and then go to those accounts and uncheck notes, you won't see them in your notes again. Now,
Oh.
if you use Google Drive or Microsoft or Exchange, whatever, or, Outlook, whatever it is now, if you use them for notes, then I would leave them. But if you don't use them, then uncheck them so they're not in your way. You're
So
probably also going to see another one that says on my Mac. You don't want that one either because if you put a note there, it's not going to show up on your phone or your iPad if you have one.
okay, so if let's say I'm making a grocery list and I want to share it with my husband and his email address is Google, a Gmail email address, does it matter? Or can
Does
I
he have an iMac? Does he also have an iPhone or?
Yeah.
Now, is his iCloud, not iCloud, is his Apple ID his Gmail address?
I don't know.
Okay, because if it is, if his Gmail is his Apple ID, then no, it's not gonna matter. But if this is a touchy one, because I think it wouldn't matter even if you did send it to him as a Gmail, because it would go directly to his Google Notes. Um, so it might not matter. That's something that you might have to test. But the biggest issue, not issue, but the biggest thing I check first is if if his Gmail is his Apple ID, then it's not going to matter. But if it's not, then you may have to use the Gmail notes to send it. Or you may be able to send it to him from your iCloud to his Gmail, and he may be able to just put it right directly into his Gmail notes. Because I know if I get a calendar invite from somebody and it's from Gmail, I can put it on my iCloud calendar and vice versa. I don't think
Right.
it matters. I think Apple and Google have made their products, for lack of a better term, able to talk to each other a little more these days, so you don't have to have a Google account to get a note from somebody with a Gmail, or you don't have to have an iCloud to get a note from somebody from iCloud, because you can put it where you want. But the first thing I would check to see if his Apple ID is his Gmail. If it is, it doesn't matter. If it isn't, then I would ask him when you send it to him if he was able to put it in his Google Notes, which he should be able to. Because I have a friend who is absolutely anti-Apple, and I send him stuff all the time from my notes to him, and he always puts it in his Google Notes. So
Okay, so theoretically, I could get rid of all those things except for the iCloud notes, and I would
right,
still be able to make the folders that I want,
yes,
groceries and trip things to take on the trip and that kind of
yes.
stuff.
And the other
And
thing that I would do before I wouldn't uncheck those is go to those each individual folders and make sure there's no notes in there. Because if there is, you can actually move them to your iCloud by doing VO Shift M, and it'll say move to, and you'll
right.
VO right arrow and move it to the folder of iCloud of where you want it. Once they're all there, then you can go uncheck them and then create folders in iCloud and put them where you want.
I am guessing that when I'm in notes and I want to do anything like sharing or whatever, I go to the menu bar. Are there any key commands that you use when you use notes that are, that
Well, I
jump
wouldn't
out
even.
at you?
That would be doing it the long way. I would just go to the note that I wanted to share or the folder and do VO Shift M and go down to share and VO right arrow
Oh.
and find the option that you want. You don't have to go through the menu bar to do that.
So anything from the menu bar that I would want to do, I just do VO Shift M.
Pretty much the only thing you can't do from VO Shift M is the view. Like if you wanted to, you have it sort by title or
Yeah,
body and stuff like that, you'd have to do that from the menu bar. But like sharing and creating a new note, which is Command N,
right,
doing a new
right.
folder is Command Shift N, a new smart folder is Command Option N. I mean,
So if I want to move a note, let's say I have a note and I want to put it in a specific folder. So that's, you already said that, that's VO Shift M
yep.
to move to,
And then you would just arrow over to the folder and arrow up and down through your choices and move to that whatever folder you want and hit enter or VO spacebar. Y'all have a good one.
Yeah.